Have you ever been in something and it just felt easy? Like there was no pressure, confusion, or guessing. Y'all talked and saw each other regularly, and everything just felt calm instead of rushed or chaotic. And at first, it feels great because it's good and steady. There's a sense of peace and stability. It gives this might actually be going somewhere for real. There are no arguments, no weird energy, no ups and downs. But there's always a but. As time passes, you start to realize nothing has changed. The conversations, the routine, and the energy are still the same. And before you know it, you find yourself thinking, wait, what are we doing? Not that anything went left, sideways, or backwards. It just never moved forward. And over time, what felt good in the beginning starts to feel malnourished, like something is missing. But you can't even point to a specific problem because technically everything is still good, but you just don't feel fed. A lot of times, that energy is Taurus rising. Come with me, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to Sister Signs and Red Flags, the podcast where astrology ain't therapy, but girl, it's close. I'm your host, Lika, and if you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome to my show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're a returning listener or viewer, as always, thank you so much for the support. It means more than I could ever say.
You're the raw MVP.
Now, if that opening felt a little too familiar, baby, don't worry because we finna talk about it. Because today we're getting into Taurus Rising, but not in that let me break down the traits for you type of a way. Lika don't do that over here. We're talking about how this actually shows up in real life and in real relationships and or situationships. Take your pick. Because your rising sign is your first impression energy. It's about how people experience you when they first meet you. It's definitely pre-feelings involvement and before anything has really had time to sit and marinate. And the truth is that beginning energy can either create something that builds over time or it can feel so good and comfortable that you don't even realize nothing is actually growing. And Taurus rising is one of the clearest examples of that because this is the energy that knows how to create stability. But depending on how it's handled, it can also be the reason things stay the same for way too long and you start looking for fertilizer or something.
Dang, you ain't even gonna feed me?
Now, I know I said Taurus rising energy can feel stagnant, but before it gets stuck, it feels like the most secure place on earth. Let's talk about why we fall for it in the first place. Because when it's feeding you right, it feels like you're getting your favorite home cooked meal daily.
Oh God, it's so good.
Do not get it twisted. Taurus rising energy is not loud and it does not do the most to try to impress you. Taurus rising just knows how to make you feel safe and comfortable. And that really be the part that gets people. Being around them feels easy. You don't feel like you have to perform or guess where you stand. And you also don't feel like you're constantly trying to figure them out. Because if not anything else, there is a consistency there. And in a world where everything feels uncertain, that kind of energy feels safe, like a teddy bear. Yeah, like Winnie the Pooh.
Is there honey in that pot?
Because Taurus rising doesn't rush you. They don't pressure you. They don't force things to happen before they're ready. They let things unfold at a pace that feels natural. And that can feel refreshing, especially if you're used to things moving too fast.
Why you rushing shit?
With Taurus rising, you can actually settle in, get cozy, grab a blanket and some hot tea.
Word up.
Because when they're into you, it shows up in how they show up. They're present, they're available, and they're consistent in a way that doesn't feel obligatory. It feels like they're choosing you for a lifetime instead of a moment. And that's what makes this energy feel secure. It's about what they do repeatedly instead of being about what they say. And that kind of steadiness will have you thinking, okay, this is something I can build on. Like, baby, we finna build a house, home, and a farm, okay? But sometimes even when the house is built, it's quiet, not peaceful, just quiet. And it's not even that anything is wrong, it's just that both people are in waiting mode.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Waiting for something to shift, waiting for something to go left, waiting for the other shoe to drop, literally waiting to exhale. And when you're in that kind of energy, you stop feeding it and stop pouring into it. Simply because a part of you doesn't trust it's going to last anyway. Everything looks good, everything is in place, but something just still feels off. If nothing else, Taurus rising energy definitely knows how to build. Building isn't the problem. It's that once it's built, it can't stop growing. Taurus gets comfortable, and comfort can turn into complacency real quick. And what once felt like stability starts to feel like stagnation because nothing is changing or evolving, which causes things to get tricky because there's no big problem to point to, there's no major argument or betrayal, no real clear reason to leave, but and also in the same breath, there's also no effort to grow or intention to deepen the connection, no curiosity about what this could be beyond what it already is. And over time, consistency turns into predictability and safety turns into routine. And that comfort starts to feel like you're stuck like Chuck without a book, baby. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. Because Taurus rising can be resistant to change. They like what works and what feels good. And once they find it, they don't always feel the need to make adjustments, even when there may be a need to do so. So basically, what happens, you're in something that looks solid but feels unfulfilling. And you're sitting there thinking, how did I go from feeling so secure to feeling like I'm not being fed at all?
It's high, but where the food at?
That's the question the world may never know. Because remember, this started off feeling like a home cooked meal daily, baby. They had your grits, your eggs, your bacon, your toast, and your coffee, okay?
Oh my God, yes. How you know that?
And now it feels like you're eating the same thing over and over again. Just a little less flavor, no growth, and no nourishment. Because I already know some of y'all are listening to this like,
What you talking about, Willis?
let me give you a visual. First name Halle, last name Berry.
Let's just say my relationships don't seem to last.
Before anybody gets too sensitive, let me say this first and put that out there. Ain't nobody finna drag Holly to hell, okay? We don't do that over here. This is solely about pattern recognition. Because if you think about her relationships, they don't start off chaotic. They don't give drama. They do not give, this is about to crash and burn. They actually start off pretty solid, pretty grounded, pretty real. And that's the part that aligns with Taurus rising energy because it feels like something you can build on. And clearly, she knows how to build. We've seen her get married, commit, and start over more than once.
No judgment here.
So building isn't the issue. But she recently said something that stuck with me. She said for years she couldn't get past a certain point in her relationship, around the third year to be exact. And when she explained it, it wasn't explosive or necessarily messy. It was just a shift where both people were kind of just waiting for something to go wrong or for the other shoe to drop. Now let's connect the dots. Because when you're in that kind of space, you stop feeding the relationship. It isn't because you don't care. Maybe you don't care. Shit, you probably didn't care. You probably stopped caring, but hey, that's another story. It's because a part of you is like, yeah, this probably isn't gonna last anyway. So instead of growing it, you just sit in it. And over time, that's how something that once felt so good and tender starts to feel empty. It's not toxic or dramatic, it's simply just not growing. Now, when you look at Holly's current relationship with Van Hunt, that energy feels different. It didn't start fast. They didn't jump into anything. They actually built it slowly and with a whole bunch of intention and with awareness. And you can tell there's more effort being put into sustaining it, not just starting it.
I realized that I had just gotten into things for all the wrong reasons, and it always became clear to me what those wrong reasons were in about 3 years. And then I knew I cannot stay here. I will die if I stay here.
Yes.
But because I got into this thing with Van in a different way, that feeling never came because I didn't get into it for the wrong reasons. I didn't even try to get into it. Unlike all the other ones, I tried to get into, like I made it happen. A bit manipulative, if I'm honest. I wanted what I wanted. It didn't mean that it was right for me, but I wanted it. But with him, I was done. I thought I could not do this. I didn't want it. I was gonna live alone, be single forever, just raise my kids, do my job. And then he came when I wasn't trying to manipulate it. I wasn't trying to make it happen. He just like showed up. And I can't say if I were left to my own devices looking for him, I would have chose him. He was chosen for me.
I mean, like, they literally did not have a phone conversation until 2 months after their first text. 2 months. Damn, that's a long time. You ain't heard that man's voice in 2 months? But you didn't hear him speak to you, girl, and whisper in your ear all of the sweet nothings. But Holly said, whisper those sweet nothings in my text message, baby. I'll let you know when to call me. And that's the difference, because Taurus Rising energy will absolutely give you something solid. But if nobody is actively feeding it, it will sit there and look good as hell, but don't even go outside. Where they even do that at? And that's the thing about fixed earth energy. It's supposed to be the foundation you build a life on. But if you don't go outside to till the soil, that foundation becomes a tomb for the relationship. And babies, don't let me lie to you. I don't usually get all up in that people's business, but I am rooting for Holly and Van, especially after seeing that TikTok they dropped on Mother's Days last year. And if you ain't see it, baby, let me show it to you, okay?
So, showed y'all how my day started, how my Mother's Day started. And now I'm going to tell you about, I'm not going to show you, I'm going to tell you about how my Mother's Day is going to end. You know, right, man?
Yes. I wish you hurry up, too.
First of all, we got our Let's Spin, because Let's Spin just came out in this cute little travel size. And so since we're in Cannes, France, I traveled with it for the first time. And we're about to give it a spin.
You about to Cannes with Van.
Happy Mother's Day once again, everybody. I hope all of you are somewhere spinning.
Oh my God, I ain't never been so happy to have Mother's Day come to an end.
When it's all said and done, y'all, something can definitely feel good and still have no growth. Because there's a fundamental difference between something being stable and something being stagnant. And sometimes the reason nothing went wrong is the same reason nothing ever went right. Now, Taurus Rising, listen, be honest. Do y'all get too comfortable? Like, let me know when things feel good. Or is it just y'all not being fed what you need to grow? And if you ever been in a situation like this, let me know also. Did it actually end, or did it just fade out quietly? Because those are the types of situations that will have you think of the longest, baby. Forever and a day, baby. Slower than molasses, okay? Anyways, drop your rising sign in the comments, because we are doing all of them. Aries Rising is already live. So until next time, y'all, stay cute, stay pretty, and be safe out there. Bye.